everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Concept Series TIE Fighter. Now, the TIE Fighter's first appearance was in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Now, before the film hit the silver screen, there was a period in production where a bunch of artists, designers, craftsmen were all coming in, and they were working on designs for the film. Now, one of the goals they had was to create a fighter for the Empire. It had to be different. It had to pop next to the Rebels, who were a lighter color scheme. So enter Colin Cantwell, and yes, I did bring him up once before when I reviewed the solo Hot Wheels ship, the Imperial Cruiser. I'll put a link to that ship in the description below. So he took a crack at the TIE Fighter, and that's what we see in front of us. As you can tell, it has the same basic design that we know and love from the real TIE Fighter, but it has some minor differences, and I can't wait to get right into the review. So for the size of this bad boy, we're looking at 2.5 inches tall and a little over 2 inches long, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to stop blabbering and get right to the review. We're going to look at the mold, the paint, put on the stand, compare it to some of the ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now looking at that mold of that TIE Fighter, we're going to go over the main sections of the ship, those that I know anyway, and then we'll get nice and close to show off all these great details. Up first, we have our viewport, our cockpit, our pylons holding it together. Very basic. In the back, we have our rivet holding it together. Peg port for the stand on the bottom. For the wings themselves, we have some braces, a little molding in the center, but on the whole, it's very flat, glossy paint. Love that, and we'll touch that later. In the interior, we do have some awesome shapes here with some silver paint. Beautiful stuff. So that goes over everything I could get from this distance. So now, let's get a close-up and see what this baby has to offer. Alright, getting as close as I can. This TIE Fighter is really fighting with me to get the lighting right, so if it's off, forgive me. But here we have our viewport, which you can see is molded, and then they painted it in. Pretty cool. We have our pylons. The main cockpit sphere has these little nibs on there, which is interesting. I don't hate it, but I don't know if I like it either. On the back, we have a little copyright crap there. Our rivet. Stand port on the bottom. Some molding going around the sides. And that brings us to the wings, as you can see. I love the industrial shapes right here, where the pylon meets the wing. I think that came out great. Copyright crap. Beautiful stuff. And that's the same for this side. Just amazing. I love the paint on here too. Very glossy. So let's take a look at the interior of the wing. We got some great looking shapes here. Beautiful stuff. Now, I'm not sure if the ones on the front are supposed to be weapons, but it sort of does look like it. They're a little different than the others. More copyright crap in the center. All in all, I love these braces. We have a bunch of little modules on here as well. Fantastic stuff. Okay, checking out the outer sides of the wings. You can see how this glossy paint just picks up every speck of dust and oil, especially from your fingers. But anywho, here we have this beautiful recessed line work, center little module there, and then we have our support beams. Very detailed. Let's go around slowly. Just awesome stuff. I think this came out really well for what it is. Here we have the front of the craft. Again, sort of looks like a weapon, but let me know what you guys think. Come around. Just beautifully molded. Just awesome. And that does it for the mold. I think Hot Wheels did a very decent job with this bad boy. The wings, though, the interior or the exterior, are where this model shines. Beautiful line work, little recess sections, modules. Perfect. I love this. And what makes this great is the paint job on here. So now let's take a look at that. When looking at the paint of the TIE Fighter, it only has about 5 colors here, but I think they did a decent job. Starting off on the wings, we have very glossy black here for the outside and insides. And I think it was a great choice. Sticks out in the collection. I love it. Now also on the wings, we have metallic silver, for all the braces. And we have like I would say it's a brass color on the center. And that's the same for the interiors. Coming out really good. And on the other side, beautiful paint job, if I do say so myself. I love the black and silver. Pretty cool. And then also the backs. Now the silver is also on the little connector parts here, where the pylon meets the wing. A little hard to see. It's so hard to film with this ship for some reason. I think because of the black wings, but you can see the silver there. And on the bottom. Pretty cool. And we also have a regular glossy black for the viewport right here, with the windshield. Really cool. And then a regular light gray for the pylons and the sphere where the cockpit would be. Just pretty cool. Very basic, but interesting at the same time. And we have the top. Pretty cool. So that's all I have to say about the paint for the Concept TIE Fighter. I think they did a decent job. I love the silver and that little brass, little circle there, or bronze. That's very cool. And this baby will stand out, especially with those beautiful glossy wings. Nice. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this bad boy back on the stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like most Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a cool translucent stand. Peg it in the port like so, hear that click? And you're good to go. Now for a cool size comparison, I have it next to some other Hot Wheels TIE Fighters. Starting on the right, we have our TIE Fighter with a color scheme from The Empire Strikes Back. Then we have our Colin Cantwell TIE Fighter. And finally, on the left, we have the TIE Fighter seen in Star Wars Rebels. And I must say, some beautiful looking ships, and you can really tell how these basically did evolve from each other with the braces here. Just a fantastic looking ship. Nice. And why not for a little added bonus here for things to come. On the left, we have the Concept Series X-Wing, and on the right, the Concept Series Millennium Falcon. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Concept Series TIE Fighter. Again, for the size of this, we're looking at 2.5 inches tall and a little over 2 inches long, which is pretty cool. You know, the TIE Fighter is such an iconic ship, it really is. A lot of people like them. And I have to be honest, I'm glad Hot Wheels took the initiative and did the concept series, because now we can see what the TIE Fighter almost looked like. And as a historian myself, now I went to school to be a history teacher and historian, and on that basis, I love this. It's a piece of history that we all get to own, and for that, I find it to be 100% worth it. Now, to back that up, the details are amazing. For what this is, which is a little Hot Wheels toy, the details are great, especially on the wings. I think they did an amazing job. Paint-wise, it's very basic, but where this figure shines is the wings, and I think they did a great job with that. Now, like always, you get that transparent stand. It says Star Wars on it, and I'm digging that as well. Now, if you're looking to buy one of these, at retail, they're about $3.99. I would check your Walmarts and Targets. However, I could not find any in my area, of course. So I had to go on the interweb, and I went to eBay and Walmart.com constantly until I finally found one, and I'm glad I did. And not that expensive either, so that's always a plus. So I recommend this for anybody who's a fan of film production or a fan of the TIE Fighter. This is a great ship, and it will stand out in your collection. So that's everything I have to say about this unique ship today. If you enjoyed my review, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.